If I could only take one trade in my entire life, this is exactly what I'd look for. What I mean by that is I'll go over the 3 best setups I've ever seen and the kind of trade I would risk it all on. And this isn't just any setup. I'm talking about on one pair and on one time frame. I'll explain exactly what makes it A plus, why it's so reliable, and why would I risk it all on that one trade. Alright, so that one time frame is the 30-minute time frame, and the one pair is the GBP JPY. So let me just go over the first A plus setup. As you can see, we have created our demand zone. Right after, we had this strong push up. Now, all we need is some level of liquidity, which was this right here. Now we need price to take out its own high and even this high, which makes it even better because then we have more bullish confirmation. So let's see if we do that. Now all we need is price to come to the zone. Even, well, I know exactly what's going to happen, but even have a fake out on this zone would be perfect as well. For normal supply and demand traders, we have even more liquidity and more stop losses above our zone. So let's see if we do that. Now we had a fake out. Now we need to just reject that zone and have a reaction from my demand zone. I'm introducing you to the best setup I have ever seen. Let me explain. What makes this already A plus is the trend, all right? Like 60-70% is always the trend. And look at this. We finally broke through this hard level, which we tried to reach many times. So we finally broke through that into all this clear space, which is absolutely perfect. So this is one biggest confirmation. What we did is we took out all these highs, which we failed to break many times. Even this high came directly to the demand zone without any bearish structure. Now entry on this trade would be absolutely pretty simple. If you don't know these entry models, you can go watch my other videos, but this here is a flip entry and I'm going to talk about my targets as well. So for my targets, I'm going to go a little bit more back and I'm going to target most of this gap because this is what it wants to fill. So I usually would go for a TP1 here. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So this would be a very good target. This would be a very good target as well. And also this would be a very good target. Oh my bad. This would be a very good target. This gap fill right here as well. And also this gap fill. So let me see where these are. Let me see if there's any support and resistance in the more. So this is a good level. As you can see, there's a support there. So this has a lot of resistance on it as well. So I think this would be our maximum risk to reward right on this one. And our TP1 would be at this high, which is going to be just like this. And that's going to be a TP1 at a 129. And for a TP2, just right over here, let's see how this trade plays out real quick. And that was hit within nearly 6 days. So that is just absolutely insane. And that is one of the first A plus setups. That's pretty much all I have to say. You have a nice level of liquidity, perfect level where you can take a demand zone, good support and resistance on the zone as well. Perfect reaction, did not go through the zone, did not close inside the zone. Perfect fake out for normal supply and demand setups, direct break of structure and direct movement to the zone. So that's it for the actual first trade, and trend is perfect as well. So let me go over the second trade now. So this here would be the second trade. All right, again on GBP JPY on the 30-minute time frame. Now what can you go wrong with this? You have the exact same thing. You have nice level of liquidity. You have liquidity right here, liquidity right here, and also liquidity right here. So you've got so much stop losses right above the zone. And you also, on top of all that, you also have a fake out for normal supply and demand traders, which they failed, and then it came back to my zone. Now entry on this, as you can see, pretty simple as well. You just enter on the directional close, first bullish candle to react from your demand zone. Today I'm just going to go over all the demand zone examples. There's no supply zones. So 30 pips max stop loss in this case, and as you can see, targets for this don't even need a TP1. You would just go for a quick 1 to 10. You can either target this gap fill or that gap fill or this high. It's really up to you, but I'm just gonna cap it at a 1 to 10 because it's already insane by itself. As you can see, which makes it even better that once we made this liquidity, we also took out this high just by the wick. If it did something like this, came over here, did that fake out from the normal supply and demand traders, came down, made this liquidity, but then failed to break that high and then came like this, it wouldn't be something like, it would be still a valid trade, but it wouldn't be that A plus trade I would risk everything on. Now also, like I said, trend on this, we failed to break out all these highs all this time, and then once we just fully broke through all that, we failed to take out all these lows, and once we took it, we hit this crazy risk to reward trade, took out this major high as well, and potentially, well, we don't need to break all these highs. Which we can do is we can enter from all the way from down over here and potentially break through these highs, and that's exactly what we did. That is the second A plus trade I will risk everything on. Now let me go over the last one. Now this is a trade I have just recently taken. It is just beautiful, nothing wrong with this trade. Also on GBP JPY 30-minute time frame, GBP JPY has so many A plus setups, and I could be here for hours explaining all the A plus setups it has given us. But now, let me just go over these three. So 1 pip stop loss on this example, that will be 0.7, and just a directional close of this bullish candle. Or you could have waited for the next candle's flip and just entered right here, because this candle's is not like strong bullish close, so you could have just done that. Now what I truly love about this trade, you have a nice accuracy zone on this trade, which we like to see, with a fair value gap right in the middle of it. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And also perfect level of liquidity with a strong break of structure twice, another liquidity and another break of structure. And what makes this even better, like I said again, trend is extremely important. So what we have done, we have failed to break lows, and so many times we failed to break lows. We took out this high, we also took out this small high here, and into all this clear space. We know that market wants to correct these moves with the kind of identical move. So as you can see, it did exactly that. So we stopped taking out lows, we started taking out highs, and then we started correcting this move right here. So perfect trade. And right after that, you had another setup right here, which run pretty perfectly as well, as you can see. But I'm not going to go over that, but that is just perfect. GBP JPY, one of my best pairs, and we just love it. We all do. Join my free Discord. That's about it for the video. These are the trades I would literally risk everything on. I mean, that's not what I do, but if I had a choice that I have to risk everything on a trade, this is exactly what I choose. These are A plus, and it doesn't get better than this. So join my free Discord. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.